How you doing, everybody? ABC Action News Chief Meteorologist Dennis Phillips. So I uploaded a video early on. No, that's not good. How you doing, everybody? ABC Action News Chief Meteorologist Dennis Phillips. How quickly things change. As you see, I am donning the rule number 7, don't freak out sweatshirt. Because if you remember in my last video, we were talking about a moisture plume from the Caribbean for next week, which was kind of a telltale sign something might be popping. The Euro has been on this for the last week, and if you know me, I can't quit the Euro. I love the Euro. It's my favorite model. It's just always been a thing with me. And the Euro is sniffing out the potential of some development in the tropics. No, not a Cat 6 hurricane like was going around on TikTok the last couple of weeks, but a developing system in the Caribbean potentially later this weekend into next week. And go figure, 8 o'clock, the Hurricane Center came out with their latest advisory, and there you see it. That yellow hatched area is the area that the Hurricane Center is now looking at for potential development. So, what does that mean? Well, without going into a ton of detail, and I will get sciencey as we get into later this week into next week, the bottom line, this could very well be exactly what the doctor ordered for the west coast of Florida. We need rain. I mean, we're in an extreme drought right now. And by the way, if we don't get much rain, the rainy season ends in a few weeks. If we don't get much rain now, and you go through a winter and a spring, like Florida usually doesn't get a lot of rain, we're going to be talking significant fire dangers and a real serious drought issue. So a lot of people sometimes say, oh, you know, what we need is maybe just a minimal tropical storm to come in and give us a ton of rain. That could happen. Now, what does that yellow area mean? It means that the Hurricane Center is saying there's a 20% chance of development of a depression or a storm in the next 7 days. The models are pinpointing later this weekend, you could see weak low pressure developing, and then it's going to move to the northeast. It will move toward Florida. The steering currents are going to bring it that way. But here's the thing. I'm going to be really, really clear about this. When you have a major storm, and a lot of folks are concerned about the warm water in the Gulf, as we should be. I mean, that's jet fuel, right? But when you get a storm that's already a big storm, like a Charlie, like an Irma, like an Ian, that water can really blow those storms up. You have a storm, if it even develops, big if, keyword, if it even develops, it's going to take days for that to get together. And because the steering currents are going to quickly move whatever it is northeast, whether it's just a blob of some rain or a depression or something more, it just isn't going to have an opportunity to do what a bigger storm would do. So let's not put the cart before the horse, as they say. Let's be realistic about this. Yes, the Euro... In fact, the Euro itself, which has been on this, is bringing what looks to be a tropical storm west of Florida and eventually into Florida the middle of next week. If that were to be the case, that's not a bad thing. Now, if it were to be stronger unexpectedly, then that's another story. But again, look, we have worst case scenarios, best case scenarios. Usually it's stuff in between. I get so sick of different sources always giving the worst case scenario, the worst picture. Every now and again it can happen. But in terms of getting information to you guys, you like to be more realistic. Why say what's going to be the worst all the time? Because that usually doesn't happen. So with this particular system, it isn't even going to develop, if it does, for 2 or 3 days. I mean, I have a tough enough time forecasting where a hurricane's going to go when I see it out there. Try predicting the future when it doesn't even exist yet. So that's where we are. By later this weekend, we could certainly see low pressure developing, and from there, it is going to lift northeast. And then at that point, we'll have a much better idea. Time frame, maybe late Tuesday, Wednesday, into early Thursday, whatever it is. The GFS, by the way, the American model, last check, is developing nothing. So let's just kind of take a chill, just kind of wait, see how things are going to happen, how they're going to play out. Take a deep breath. Rule number 7, don't freak out. There ain't nothing to worry about, and we'll see how it plays out as we get into next week. But I did want to come on and let y'all know that, yes, what we were talking about earlier, the NHC now does have that yellow hatched area, which means development is possible in the next week in the Gulf. Keep it right here. We're updating on Facebook, on TikTok, on YouTube, anywhere I can find as we get into the heart of this hurricane season. You guys have a great night.